back and we're going to take a look at the playthrough for Space Quest 1, the AGI version. Uh, most of Space Quest 1 I had pretty much committed to memory, so there are moments in the game where if it was someone's first time playing it might not seem like the logical thing to do, which was kind of notorious with some of these Sierra games back in the day. Some of the things you had to do were kind of crazy. So we start off with the game. Light years from Earth's solar system, the people of the galaxy Irnon have been struggling to maintain the precious balance of life. The sun of Irnon is slowly dying. The planet's growing cold, food is no longer plentiful, life will soon become impossible to sustain. But a star generator is made that can turn a lifeless planet basically into a sun. So we're assuming that there's a lifeless planet somewhere near here that isn't too close that would burn the planet down. And this thing is called the star generator. And the Arcadia is now returning triumphantly to Xenon with the fully operational star generator. And you serve as a member of the crew as a janitor. That's right, a janitor, and not a good one. You would probably have been sacked and replaced were the Arcadia not millions of kilometers from Xenon. As we join our story, you have just completed one of your famous on-shift naps in one of the janitor storage closets. And here at this part it says, welcome aboard the Arcadia, enter your name. And actually, if you don't enter your name, you press enter, it just gives you the name Roger Wilco, which is actually the name they end up using for the rest of the series. So inputting your name doesn't matter for the rest of the series. In the game, it'll call you by the name, but it defaults to Roger Wilco, which is what they use for the rest of the series. And so you stumble out of your closet awakened, and alarms are going off. Now, in most games like this, you would think that going back into the closet and finding something in the closet would have happened. But in this game, it doesn't. I just wanted to show that there was nothing here to even try to find. All right, now the video is sped up here, as you can see, as it is for the rest of the game, because no one wants to really listen to me talk for like the 2.5 hours it took me to beat Space Quest 1. Now, I know from previously playing, one of these bodies has something that you'll need. So you walk around searching for bodies. And the cool thing is with this game, similar to DOS, if you just hit F3, it'll actually repeat the last command you typed. And whenever it says you think you hear footsteps, you need to hide somewhere, like either get on, hopefully, the right side of the elevator, or if you can, get in the elevator and hide. Or the Sarian aliens will come out and shoot you. And right up there is the body I actually need to get to on that screen, so I just need to make my way to him. See, once again, you think you hear footsteps. And what's interesting is if you hide and you just wait like 2 seconds, it's long enough, like right there, it still says you think you hear footsteps. That message doesn't clear, which is deceiving because you might think you just need to hide forever. And so you search this body, and there is a key card. Now, well, I won't spoil it. I made a mistake right there, and it's about to become painfully obvious when I realize it later. And so something's supposed to happen in this room. but it's not happening, so just continue cruising around. And it's like every time I'm at the screen, it says you think you hear footsteps. And there it is, the scientist. So we try to talk to the man. It says he's not in any state to talk. So, but he does tell you to look at the machine and get the astral body. So it goes through, gets the cartridge, and so now we have the cartridge and we're on our way. Now, if I was smart, I'd look at my inventory and realize I've made a mistake. And right there's one of the aliens, the Sarians. So he actually showed up on that screen. So see, you can hide on this side of the elevator as long as you're on the correct side. Like if this was a longer hall where it can be entered from both sides and he comes from the other side, you get shot. So far, so good. We're cruising through. Boom. And that's when I realized I don't have the key card. So when I searched the body, it says it had a key card, but I forgot to actually pick up the key card. So I have to make my way back to that body. And boom, got shot. Couldn't get to the other side of the elevator fast enough or in the elevator. But that's all right, since I forgot the key card, not much loss here. And it puts me actually really close to the body. So that whole elevator thing was because of the footsteps. And so you can just stand in the elevator and he'll show up and he'll walk away if he doesn't see you. Excuse me. So we open the bay doors. Get over here, use the key card. So you need the spacesuit. And the gadget. Now, this is my fault, as we'll see later. There's something you have to do with the gadget that you can do pretty much as soon as you get it. And I failed to look at what the gadget was. Because of you keep hearing footsteps. I'm just trying to get off the ship in a haste here. And when I did this playthrough, and I made a mistake. Well, not a mistake. Something happens later. This is pretty funny when you're in the ship. It tells you things like when you turn on the power to try to go, it says you don't have your seatbelt on, so you put your seatbelt on. And then it says you have the door open, so you close the door. Or it says the door's ajar, so then you have to firmly close the door. Oh, that's Space Quest humor. And so it auto navs to a planet called Corona. And boom. So I remember there's something in the ship that you have to get. And I know there's something about a reflective glass. So you can see me typing like get mirror, whatever, or get glass. And when I look on the floor, it says that there's a survival kit. And in it is a knife and some dehydrated water. And if you go the wrong way, boom. So one of the notorious things in Sierra games in these early AGI is the climbing things with the stairs. And here we are. Suddenly you see a large black metal sphere falling out of the sky, a Syrian spider hunting droid. So if this thing touches you, it'll explode on you. And now there's two ways to defeat this thing. There's one way where you can do what I am trying to do here and push the rock on it. So that's the quick, easy way to do it. And you got to make sure you do it right or you miss. And the other way is if you lead it. So here in a moment, we're going to get told to do something to destroy an alien. And if you lead the spider to it, it'll touch it and blow it up, and you get what you need out of it. Not out of the spider, but out of the thing we're about to get told to go find. So down we go. And so right in here, there's something we're supposed to also do, which I don't see when I did the first playthrough. And I know we need something. I just can't remember where to get it. So two things. Obviously, I recall getting something that is a mirror that is reflective for what's about to come up. But I didn't pick it up because I couldn't remember. So I thought I'll just keep playing until it comes back to me. And then the other thing is we need to stop this geyser. Because in order to get up to the upper level, we clog the geyser and this opens up a secret door. And this takes me a moment to figure out what to do. I kept thinking it was like you throw the water in there to blow it up. Couldn't remember. I just knew we had to do something with the geyser to basically stop it up. And I figure I'll go back. And otherwise, it seemed like you're stuck. But then I realized there's that rock on the floor, and the rock is what we actually need. And that's why I put son of a. At least it wasn't far to get it, which is good. At least they don't dead end you here if you don't get the rock before you come down here. So that was nice of them. And here I know that this is acidic from previously playing it. They kind of give you a hint because you can see that there's holes in the floor. Now remember, I was talking about needing a mirror. And so I know there's something with like a reflective glass. And so it dawns on me that it's not actually the mirror we need to pick up. It's actually the glass. So I restore here, and then I get the glass. And also, if you spend too long, the spider droid will come down. And from here, it is difficult to try to outmaneuver him because he is pretty quick and he gains on you fairly quickly. So you'll see once it drops down, I try to go around the ship to kind of lose him, but as soon as I cross the screen, I can't tell if I'm in a loading screen or a dead end. But what's weird is when I go right, it showed that kind of blocked dead end. But now if I go right again, it's a different loading screen. So that is what's weird. Like when the spider's there, if you go right, the screen totally changes as to what's loading and it's not the same. So now we're just gonna come back up here, do essentially what we did before. Spider drops down, we're gonna wait and drop the rock on it. And the good thing with these games is if you know what you need to do, type it ahead of time and just get ready to hit enter. Or F3 if you need to type it again real fast. All right, so we got the spider again. We're going to move on back to where I was because now I have the reflective glass. which will be needed to surpass the beams. So go back down here, go over there, pick up the rock again. Avoid the monster in the grate. Then put the rock in the geyser, which clogs it up. Now we're back here again. Head over to the back. And now it's going to be hard to see maybe because it's sped up. But literally, I tried a number of combinations of phrases to say use reflective glass, reflect beams on itself, put glass between beams. Like, you would think they would have made some of these commands the actual command. Like, use glass on laser. Like, how does that not work? Because you know exactly what you're trying to say. Use glass to break laser. Use the damn glass, Roger. And then put glass in beam. That works. But use glass in beam doesn't. So that seems kind of stupid. Let me go up here. And what we're going to want to do is definitely save, because that's acidic water dropping, and if it hits you, you die. Now, you see, I made it the first time. Like, didn't seem all that difficult, which is pure luck, because when I come back here after I do something, it doesn't go that well. All right, so we can see the alien is talking to us, but can't understand it, so we can't communicate, so it sends me away. So realize that the gadget is a translator. So that was the mistake I made earlier when I didn't examine it. It tells you that it's a translator and to turn it on. So I restored before I went down there, came back, and now you can see he's talking about it. So he says, hey, you need some transportation. We can help you get some transportation if you're worthy. There is a thing called an ORAT. Go get rid of it. So now I have to find a way to defeat the ORAT. And you'll notice when you cross this bridge, it cracks. So you've only got so many times before you can cross back and forth. If that bridge breaks, I do believe you fall to your death, or you basically end up dead-ending yourself. So I walked this way, and you can guess what happens. Wasn't really paying attention when I was playing the game. The cave is actually right there, and you'll see me go, oh, now I see it. So it's right there. I thought it was like a screen over on the other side of this mountain, but clearly not. And there's Orat. So if you let him get too close, he wants to play with you and turns you into a ball, and that'll end your time here. So what you need to do is you actually throw the dehydrated water, which he will consume, and the water expands within him within seconds, which, you know, kind of showers you, and you'll see that an Orat part fell on the floor. And so now we have to go back to where we were, go up here, cross that bridge that keeps cracking, go over to the alien, now remember when I made it the first time? This happens a lot. So this is why I say save before, because The fact that I made it through the first time is pretty incredible. But there you go, made it through. So he tells you, drop the ORAT before me if you have it. You drop it before him, boom, and a door opens. So now the alien shows up and says, don't be alarmed. We've been here a long time. Everything we do is produced by steam. Here's a skimmer to get you closer to the town. It'll help you so you don't get eaten by the thing called a grell, which we've seen twice by me walking out into the desert and getting devoured. So before you leave, however, because this is super, super dead-endy, is you have to use the cartridge in that console. And it says, hey, my name is Slash Valhall, which will come up in Space Quest 2. The star generator is this great, powerful thing, but if it falls into the wrong hands, it can be very destructive. It does have a self-destruct code, which is 6858. Now, if you didn't look at this cartridge here, when you get to the star generator at the end, you won't know how to basically make it self-destruct, which would literally dead end you at the very end of the game. Because as far as I know, there is no other place to actually look at the cartridge. Like on the Syrian ship, I don't think there's a place where you can actually look at the cartridge in the event you didn't look at it here. And now you'll see I'm struggling with the skimmer. It says there's a key in the ignition, so I'm typing things like use key, and turn key finally gets it. But that was like 10 different commands that I tried before the skimmer actually took off. Now this is a arcade sequence, pretty much, where rocks are coming at you as you're flying. And what you have to do is essentially dodge left and right for the to avoid the rock so that you can actually make it. And you'll see like every time you get hit, it says, damage report, critical, minor, whatever. And if you get hit after critical, you just eat dirt, literally. So I turned it on slower. I think even maybe the slowest. And what I did is I veered all the way to the left. And if you look at the center middle of the screen, eventually you'll start seeing like a white line. It's supposed to be you approaching the town, getting closer. So veering all the way to the left allowed me to avoid a lot of rocks. I do think this arcade sequence is random, so this may not work all the way to the left for you. As you can see, suddenly there's a bunch of rocks that came to the left. So I do believe it is completely random how these rocks come down. And I make it just in time. So that blue ship that's right behind the bar, anyone else ever watch Fonz and the Happy Days Gang cartoon? Because I am pretty sure that's what that ship is, unless it's a reference to something else that I don't remember. But that literally looks like the ship from Fonz and the Happy Days Gang. And what's cool here is you'll see a band in the background. The band changes every time, but clearly that right there is supposed to be ZZ Top. And you'll notice the alien that's playing the little slot machine gets turned to dust and swept away. And so I should say when you first land, the guy comes out to offer a deal, and you say no to the first time, and then he'll come back and offer a jetpack and some buckazoids, which is money. That's the one you want to take, is the second offer. And there's where I look at the gadget that says it's a translator. So now the band has changed, and it'll do that every time. The Blues Brothers will also show up. So what we need to do is we need to gamble. Now I sped this up and then sped it up again because I spent quite a bit of time gambling here. So the thing is basically save and then restore when you lose and just keep playing that way. It's really easy because F8 is to bet. the most, which is 3. Then F7 is restore. So if you lose, you just hit F7, enter, and then go back to your game, and then F8, F8. And it's sped up, but one of the times I did hit the 3 skulls, which turned Roger to dust. But as you can see, it's sped up considerably. It's just flying through, and it's me restoring and playing restore, replay, restore, replay. And the game will stop at 250 Buckazoids. It'll say that it broke. But after you spend some money, you can go back and play again in the event you think you need more Buckazoids. But you just need it pretty much to buy some beer to overhear a conversation that's about to come up, and then buy a ship to get off the planet. But then the ship requires a droid, so you need to also buy a droid. So there we go. We just hit 250. So gambling done. Come over here and he says, hey, what do you want? Get a beer for $2 And the thing is, you get a beer and you drink it, and clearly you can just keep doing this over and over. I think it's 3 times until you start overhearing a conversation. And then right there, like I said, it's essentially the Blues Brothers that's performing in the background. I couldn't remember if you had to stand in a specific spot to overhear the conversation. I just remember that it happens, but I think you just stand at the same place where you order beer, and then eventually you'll hear it. And boom, there it goes. And he talks about heading towards the Deltar system, which is in HH, I think it says. So now you have coordinates as to where to go. So we're gonna go over here. Got a lot of money, but I'm gonna try to gamble because I can't remember what's required for the ship and for the droid that is required to autopilot the ship. So I'm at 241, so it's not going to take much to get back to 250. And there it is, 250. And ZZ Top's back. So I swear that ship that I just typed look ship at looks exactly like the ship from Fonz and the Happy Days gang, and that guy at the bar is probably Fonz with a mohawk. And so you meet Tiny here, and he's just a guy who wants to sell ships. And you're like, okay, well, nothing here to buy. So we're going to go up a screen, and there's a ship all by itself. And he says, oh, this is a great ship. I'll sell it to you. And so you buy the ship. And you're like, cool, I bought a ship. But there is something to the ship, which is pretty funny when you leave. And so if you head to the right, there's a droids are us. And the guy says, hey, welcome. Oh, sorry, droids be us. I think it used to be droids are us, but some legal thing happened with Toys R Us, which now no longer exists, really. And so you buy a droid and comes through with you, and he'll follow you, go back to your ship. So when you climb the ladder, he'll go to the position, and you just type load droid, which I'm surprised I remembered off the first shot. And then a dude comes out, hey, wait a minute, where are you going with my ship? So actually, Tiny sold you someone else's ship, which is pretty funny. And we're headed for HH. So I can't help but wonder, now that I work in a corporate environment, people will refer to HH as happy hour. So I'm wondering if that's why Deltar is in sector HH. I wonder if that's supposed to be a reference to happy hour of some kind. So you can see we are approaching the Sarian ship and getting close to it. So we are almost at the end of this game. It did take me 2 hours to beat it, so I did speed it up, so to the point where it's only going to take me about 35 minutes to talk about it. So you put on a jetpack, bail on the ship, and you end up here, and you just go to the center to open the door. And when I first got in here, the door says it won't open, and I was like, well, how do I get in here? And then a droid comes through. So, and here I remember pushing this box towards the vent. And so what's funny is if you look, it calls it a container, uh, but it won't understand open container, which is another weird thing where when you say it says there's a container in this room, why it doesn't understand open container equals open trunk. So anyway, you get what's in the container, you push it towards the vent, climb up, climb into the vent. Now from here, I couldn't remember where the right screen was, so I was just going to keep going. But then I realized there's no right here, so I figured let's just do every single side vent, and it's a closed vent. I try to open it, and you would think, because you have a survival knife in the survival kit, that you could use a knife to try to unscrew it, but maybe not because the screws are on the other side, so I guess that makes sense. So kicking the vent actually works, which is totally weird. So what you do is you look in the washer. You would think looking in the washer you might have found a costume. But what you actually have to do is climb into the washer and you come out with a costume, which is one of those things where I said this was pretty much muscle memory. If this was someone brand new to playing Space Quest, I don't know if they would think to climb into the washer. Like they'd be like, okay, there's nothing in the washer. There's a door to the right, and you get shot for it when that alien shows up. So climbing the washer is what you have to do. And now what I'm looking for, but completely hopelessly lost because I don't have this part memorized at all, is we're looking for the weapons area. There's a droid somewhere on the ship that says, hey, you know what? I need your ID and stuff like that before I can give you the weapons. So this is me just literally wandering around the entire ship, literally just went in a circle looking for this droid. And now there's the star generator. So I saved it as wandering around, trying to find my way to the droid. So now that I know the star generator's there, I know that the droid is one screen over and on the upper floor. So I finally make my way over there. And the droid shows up, says, hey, I can give you your weapon. Show the ID, which you get from the trunk and the uniform in the, I should say, in the washing room. And while he's away, you have to quickly go down, grab the grenade. And you'll notice you drop the grenade, and you kill the alien by the star generator. And you have, now that you have your gun, it's F6 to fire the gun. But you don't want to fire it yet because you still have your alien disguise until Roger trips. Nothing you can do about it. He trips, and now Roger's in peril. So now you have to make sure to shoot aliens before they shoot you as soon as you enter into a screen. So most of the time, I would just enter into a screen and press F6 as soon as it loaded, just in case there was an alien around. So you search the body again, find a remote, and this is once again where I'm trying different commands with the remote and nothing. So you eventually just press off and then that'll actually turn off. And now here's where you have to enter the code. Where I said previously, if you didn't do it, get the code from the alien thing, you would literally be stuck here. So do 6858. Things are about to go boom. All right, so the star generator is going into overdrive. And unfortunately, I did not press F6 when I walked out of the screen because I simply forgot and got shot for it. So thankfully I had saved right after making the star generator go, and boom, shot the alien. So now what we have to do, obviously since the star generator is about to explode, is get off this ship. Now we can't go back the way we came in and use our jetpack. So now I'm going to wander around aimlessly until I can find the escape pod, which is actually much easier, and I get shot for it. So Now I have to, once again, wander around. And that is the easy way. It was actually just going 1 over. So when I wandered the other way and died for it, I just tried the next elevator, and that happens to be the escape pod. And so you see it start to blow up, boom, 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 boom. And then just like the Death Star, boom. It's been blown to tiny fragments. Congratulations, Roger Wilco, you rid the universe of the evil Sarians and saved your people. And a la Star Wars, you get a award, which is a golden mop. And the droid does get nothing, kind of like Chewbacca. So I thought it was kind of cool that the droid does remain with you at the very end. Although it doesn't matter in Space Quest 2 because you don't have it in Space Quest 2. Your career resumes as a janitor. And said it briefly there, see you in Space Quest 2. And there's the thing where I was showing the F4, which is what I should have done with the gadget, and it would have told me that it was a translator. All right, well, that does it for Space Quest. Thanks for hanging out and listening. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share it if you enjoyed this video. Have a good one.